You want more? You
everybody. Good morning, everybody. Everybody awake yet?
Well, I'm not.
Yeah.
And Mike Mistich, he's not awake either. He's in the back door. They got 14 guitars in his arm.
we got a cot back there. He's gonna nap a little bit.
3 bass fiddles.
He'll be awake maybe around 11. So
I thought we were here for a celebration, not awake.
Exactly. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, welcome everybody to the 30th anniversary for the Texas Steel Guitar Association, and this is the 10th anniversary of a non-pedal event here at the TSGA. So welcome everybody. And of course, we're going to start out with everybody's hero, and I'm proud to call him my friend. I go up to Nashville and see him a couple times a year, and we pick and grin and just have a good time. So I know you're going to love him, and he really needs no introduction. So let's just kind of let him take it. Mr. Billy Robinson.
You know, it seems like I was just here last month. It's been a year ago. Now, I'm going to do some of the same tunes that I did last year. But you know, when you get past 80 years old, time goes by fast. I mean, really, it does. Now, your playing don't get any faster though. That's I'd like to start out my part of the program. Let's see. We had some other folks that was, I don't know if somebody's going to be playing, but he's going to be playing bass with us. We'll start out with that.
I'm looking for us.
He'll be here in a minute.
Which one do we want to do first?
Oh, you know any of them.
Let's do the Jersey Bounce.
Okay.
Now, this is not a country tune, but it's a tune. The Jersey Bounce, you can do that. Okay. See, we haven't had a chance to do a lot of rehearsal and everything, but we're going to try this tune called Jersey Bounce. Okay, here we go. It's the key of G. You know, when I worked on the Grand Ole Opry, I started in 1948, and that was before a lot of folks were born. I don't know if anybody out here was born at that particular time, but it was the music was a lot different back then than it is now. They had a lot more melodies, I think, they played, and of course, I started with Mr. Red Foley on the Prince Albert Show. I don't know if anybody remembers the Prince Albert Show was a smoking tobacco. It had Prince Albert smoking tobacco. People used to call me up all the time and they'd say, "Have you got Prince Albert in a can?" And I'd say, "Well, won't you let him out?" That was a joke. Mighty weak joke of the week. I'd like to do a tune called "I Love You So Much It Hurts." We had Floyd Tillman did that as a guest on the Prince Albert Show. on the Prince Albert Show, every week we'd have a different guest. Anybody who was anybody was on the Prince Albert Show at one time or another. Hank Thompson, Hank Williams, goodness, you name it, just dozens and dozens of people. But he did this tune and he wrote it, I Love You So Much It Hurts. And this is my imitation of a pedal steel too, so close your eyes and see if you can watch the pedals, okay? I love you so much it hurts. Can you say that was again? That's a key of F. Yeah, walls. 1, 2, 3, 1. When I was on the WSM, I was on the staff at WSM, and every time that a new performer would come in and start on WSM, they wouldn't bring a band. We would have a staff band, and the staff band at that time was me and Grady Martin, the great guitar player, and Ernie Newton. Ernie Newton was the bass player, and he had formerly worked with the Les Paul Trio, and great musicians. And but I got the chance to record with a lot of the new guys coming in, and one of them was George Morgan, and I had the opportunity to record his first tune, and his first tune was Candy Kisses, and I'd like to do that for you. And this, by the way, sold over 1 million records, not because of me, but because of him. He was a great singer and a great person, and he wrote this song, Candy Kisses.
And I've never warned him, I'm getting over laryngitis. I'm not sure what part of my voice is working, so if Mr. Haney comes in the mix from Green Acres, you can...
Candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than any of mine. Candy kisses wrapped in that you were dreaming too. Now my castle has turned to ashes. I thought I had a love so true. You don't mean it when you whisper those sweet love words in my ear. Candy kisses wrapped in paper mean more to you than mine do, dear. Mean more to you than mine do, dear. I can hardly tell my songs from my songs, so can you?
That was George Morgan's first tune that he recorded when he came to the Grand Ole Opry. It was in 1949, and it was the biggest hit, really, and it was also the first tune that I ever recorded as a steel guitar player in 1949, and it was well over a million seller. Carl Smith's another fellow that came to us. I think it was 1950 he came, and I was also working and recorded with him. He did a tune called I Overlooked an Orchid, and Ray, let's do that one now. I Overlooked an Orchid, Carl Smith, and this wasn't his biggest seller, but it was the most requested tune that he had. A tune called I Overlooked an Orchid in the key of G.
The orchid is a flower that blooms so tenderly to thrill the fairest maiden of the land. When placed beside a blushing rose, the rose could not compare. But how was such as I to understand? I overlooked an orchid while searching for a rose. The orchid that I overlooked was you, and the rose that I was searching for turned out to be untrue. The orchid now I find, my dear, was you, Mr. Billy Robinson. Its color, oh, but the orchid is still the same, and I'm alone to face these bitter years. I didn't see the orchid, I was searching for the rose, and now I pay the price with bitter tears. The orchid now I find, my dear, was you.
You know, a lot of people don't understand, and I know most of you steel guitar players understand the difference between the different styles of playing. But when I come along, you know, we had, and I'm going to explain this to the ladies here because a lot of the ladies here may not play steel guitar, but their husbands do. The first steel guitar player that I remember when I started playing was Roy Wiggins, and he was known for doing a ting-a-ling. And I'll show you just a little bit of what ting-a-ling was. So that was a Roy Wiggins style. And then Jerry Bird came to Nashville, and he started doing recordings and everything, and he had a style that's kind of like this. I'll do it for you. Kind of a Hawaiian style, you know, and then we had another guy that was that played with Roy Acuff, and he did the Sawzwall style, and he did this style. Now that was a Oswald style, and then the pedal steels came in, and it was something like this. This microphone keeps escaping from me. Now that's a pedal style. Now you can't do that on this guitar. All right, let's see what I've got.
Billy, what tunings were you playing when you recorded with George? And
well, the tuning I had was a C6 tuning, and the tuning I have now is part of a C6. I've got a 10-string guitar, and but I put a D on the top, and it's like the C6. Then here's a G on top of it. But now here's the funny part: the D, and that allows me to do. See, I'm pulling that D string, and then on the bass string, if you're doing nightlife, so I'm pulling strings behind the bar, and that's the way you get those particular chords. One, what was that tune we were doing? The Mama. Yeah, I like to do this. A tune called I call it the Wawa Blues. I don't know where my friend back there is.
Right here, he's right here.
Oh, here he is. Yeah. He said if I didn't do this tune, he was going to send me back to Nashville. And it's a long way back to Nashville. I'll tell you, we made that trip last night. I didn't think we was ever going to get here. We got lost, but we had fun seeing the scenery. It's a lot of pretty scenery around, but not at night. Here we go. G, okay. guitar just a minute. Okay, steel guitar? He said, huh? Yeah, that's right. Who you hollering for? Well, holler for your mama. Now, you can holler louder than that, can't you? That's a little bit better. Now, holler real loud for me. You don't have to cry about it. Now, who did you say you wanted? Okay, say, I want my mama. Okay. I think your mama's out there on the farm, isn't it? Yes, well, what they got on the farm? We got... They got chickens out there. That chicken just laid an egg. I think I'm laying one, too. What else they got on the farm? That's right, they got the cows out there, too. Well, I'll tell you what, let's just finish up this song with Old Mama Blues. Here we go. You know, I play that for my grandkids. They love that, so I thought I'd try some of the older folks. You know, back during when I worked on the Grand Ole Opry, we had a great guy started with us named Hank Williams. And I worked with him the first night he played on the Grand Ole Opry, and he got I believe 7 encores. I didn't think we was ever going to get the band to start playing again because they kept giving encores for Hank Williams. Then I went to Germany with him in 1949, the first trip that the Grand Ole Opry made to Germany many, many years ago. And you think we could do Cold, Cold Heart in his memory? Hank Williams. I know Hank.
I'm sure you can do it.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of stories. When we went to Germany, they gave us orders in Russian. And they had different sectors in Germany. They had the Russian sector, and they had the American sector, and the French sector. And so we had orders in Russian if we got lost and got over into the Russian sector. And Hank, I don't know if you've ever seen Russian writing. It was like the typewriters broke. and Hank looked at me. He said, "Those Russians could never win a war because they don't know how to spell." And he was a skinny guy. I'll tell you, he was really, really thin. I think he weighed 120 pounds or something. And I used to kid him all the time. And he told me one time, he said he was so skinny he only had one stripe in his pajamas. He said he could hide behind a microphone stand. That was Hank, a good guy. Let's do Cold, Cold Heart in his memory.
So hard, my dear, to show that you're my every dream. But you're afraid each thing I do is just some evil scheme. A memory from your lonesome past keeps us so far apart. Why can't I free your doubtful mind and melt your cold, cold heart? There was a time when I believed that you belonged to me. But now I know your heart is shackled to a memory. In anger, unkind words are said that make the teardrops start. Why can't I free your doubtful mind your cold, cold heart. Billy Robinson.
You know, we went to Germany in 1949, and Hank went and Red Foley, and we had Roy Acuff, and we were on this airplane, and we were coming back. We were flying into Bermuda, and I'll never will forget this as long as I live. This airplane dropped, and I looked around, and everybody's floating in the air. And as they came down, Hank, I looked back, he was an "I'll fly away, oh glory." Oh, that was a scary. We were in that, didn't know about it then, but they call that the Bermuda Triangle. We were going into Bermuda. We had played in Germany and played all over Germany, and that was a scary time for me. I like to do a song, "Take Me As I Am or Let Me Go." This Jimmy Dickens did this, and it's a real pretty tune on the steel, and I'd like to, let's do that now.
What was the key of C?
You know, I like to talk, as you can tell. We had this guy named Sleepy McDaniels that used to work in our band, and he played bass fiddle, and he could sleep anywhere. I mean, you couldn't wake him up. But we used to take turns driving. I don't know if you guys that traveled on the road like we did, and back then we didn't have big buses and all that sort of thing. You know, you'd be driving down the road with a bass fiddle neck over your shoulders. I'm sure a lot of you folks have done that. And but Sleepy, he had been driving, and it was time for somebody else to drive. So Sleepy said, well, I'm going to go back in and lay down and go to sleep. And so we always pulling tricks on each other. So Sleepy's back there. He just started and just gone to sleep, and he'd been sleeping probably 15 minutes. So what we did, of course, you couldn't wake him up. We got his watch, and we ran it ahead several hours. And we had a clock on the car. You know, back in those days, you had a big old clock, and we wound it ahead, and we said, hey, Sleepy. He'd been sleeping 15 minutes. We'd wound all the clocks ahead. He said, darn, it felt like I just went to sleep. He said, of course he had. Anyway, so Sleepy had been sleeping 15 minutes. He got up and he started driving again. Well, in a few minutes, Sleepy started hollering. He says, hey, something's terribly wrong, and something's awfully wrong. And we said, what's wrong, Sleepy? He said, it's 10 o'clock and the sun hadn't come up yet. You know, on the road, you had to do something to keep yourself going, because, you know, you're playing tricks on each other, and it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Can we do can you do that High the Moon? If you do. I like to end my part of the program. Les Paul had a tune called High the Moon. It's a good old instrumental tune, and I'd like to do that for you. This will be my last tune. High the Moon. Key and G, fellas. Whoa, sorry. I got the Wawa thing.
We've got Jamie Cummins and Tony Locke, Mark Roeder, and Billl Cunningham. All right. Coming up next is Jim Evans. So don't go away.